Hello, everyone. Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. It's January 13th. Couple things. We're going to do a Bill Basement Build Day. But first, I want to mention Horns of the Buffalo, 12 Anglo-Zulu War scenarios of the Zulu War of 1879. Professor Dennis Bishop helped me with this prior to him passing away. And sadly, Dennis never got to see it be published. You could pick this up at Blue Panther Printing, Bill Molyneux Games. And with it being January and the anniversary of Issy and Luana, I thought I would mention this is a great game, 12 battles, under $50. So I had a couple people ask me about my board games. Maybe each video here and there I will mention my different board games. All right, we'll put that out of the way. And we're going to zero in on the workbench. Okay, I had a person ask me about, I asked everyone about working on what you work on. A person even asked me how you get motivated. I don't know, but we're using E6000 and we're going to work on these fences. And the way to get motivated, a lot of times my wife has some health issues. I have to stay in the basement. So, I get motivated by just being banished to the basement while she's resting. I bought these pieces of fencing at the barrage in September. And as you can see, they've really come a long ways. So we're going to glue them to cardboard with E6000. And then I will take them outside and spray paint them a flat gray. Okay. And once they're spray painted flat gray, then we can black wash them. And once they're black washed, we can flock them with some flocking material. So right now I have some old cardboard strips, and it's not a very thick cardboard, it's cereal box stuff actually. And I'm just laying these out. I pre-measured these, by the way, if you're wondering. So, and we're just going to start gluing some fence rails down. Now with E6000, there's two types. And this is the regular. I did not get the plastic kind with the red label because that one's even extra smelly. Okay, so there we go. And I'm doing them all in this set like this. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And of course, if I have an issue later, such as this one doesn't quite hit the bottom of my cardboard, I'll find some extra flocking material to put around it when I get to that part. So, okay. So right now we're just going through and throwing some glue on these, and voila. And these will be done in no time. And it's quite amazing how you buy a few things at this convention and that convention, and the next thing you know, you have a ton of stuff in your house that you haven't used, worked on, played with, painted. I try to use everything that's gifted to me right off the bat. So Sheriff John and his father, and many of you, I got a person that sent me the German paratroopers, and I got to say thank you to so many people that have sent me stuff. So I do try to use it. And now, I had mentioned on Facebook and the YouTube channel we were going to chit chat about plastic figures and how they can get brittle. Well, Jerry's YouTube channel of Plastic Toy Soldiers, he's from Sweden, I think it is, and he buys a lot of eBay stuff, and he at times gets old Airfix and plastic figures that are brittle, broken, or turned to powder even. I saw where the other night he had a bag of British bandsmen, and they were actually powder, yellow powder dust from the 1950s. So what causes that? Well, the first thing is, it's not necessarily every plastic toy soldier out there. There are different manufacturers, and I have found that Airfix, for some reason, if kept in the attic and it's dry, they seem to go bad much quicker than um, Marks. And so, just to give you a heads up, I think there's a difference in the amount of oil that's in them, and if that makes sense. So everything I've read about plastic figures is they dry out, the oil seeps out of the plastic, and once that seeps out, they're pretty much become brittle and they break. So I do know of a person that bought the Airfix Combat Pack, which is the British paratroopers, German infantry, 1/32 scale, 2 pillboxes, a Cromwell tank, and a German half-track. And they were supposed to have been mint sealed, which he says they were. But when he opened them, wherever they were stored in the attic, and they literally were crumbling. And his half-track, he said he could put his finger and the Cromwell right through the plastic. It was that fragile. So, just something to be aware of when you are buying old plastic figures, that sometimes, they're 50, 60 years old, they could have an issue. So, they could have an issue, and you end up with bad figures. Now, the Jerry site, he opens up his eBay figures that he buys, and it's quite interesting watching him, as he will have different figures in the boxes, and it's just, he doesn't remember what he bought from the last time, and then he's trying to remember what he ordered. And as you can see, I did not measure this fence out good at all. That's becoming a mess. We're going to set it over here. Well, I guess I got it almost to work, but not quite. But it needs so we're going to have, so have you ever purchased used figures in the 54 millimeter and even 1/72? I remember a fella in my old wargaming group, Rob Wingert, he bought a whole batch of 1/72, and then they were used. I think he got them at the flea market, Fallen or something, and we're talking 20 years ago, and they were all all brittle. All right, so we have fences up. Now, I'm going to put these all on one piece of styrofoam, and we're going to take them outside and spray paint them. You're going to come outside and see how they look spray painted. Okay, everyone. Well, we're outside, and it's a little cool to spray paint overall, but for fences, I don't have to worry too much about everything as far as being perfect. They're not figures. Oh my gosh, we have an avalanche of wind. I have to fix that. Bye, everybody. This is live action. Okay, everyone. You gotta admit, this is live action now. Bill's basement painting out here. I have this giant box, and we put the fences in that, give them another spray paint, last of the paint. All right, now what we're gonna do is put the lid on this and set it off to the side outside here. My wife hates the smell of glues and paints, so I do everything as far away as possible so as not to make her sick. All right, well, everyone, they're in there drying. I'm going to wait an hour and then bring them in. I know having the lids closed, it's going to take longer for them to dry and the temperature, but I figure an hour I'll check on them. Let's go back in and flock those Confederate soldiers and the Zulus. All right, well, we have project outside drying. I got new brushes from the wife. She watched the Jim Shaw video on having plenty of brushes. And we have, by the way, one marks of the old style figures. This isn't the brittle one. This is the rubbery one of the, a lot of people commented about them. So, and these are sort of the same type of figures, and they're rubbery from the Marks stuff. So, flocking material. We have our flocking material here, and our paint is 50% water and Elmer's glue and green paint. And I've done this a lot. By the way, I can't find my rubber gloves. So at the end of this video, I'll probably be a bit green. So the brittle figures, that's today's topic. And I've really only encountered it a couple times of all the 54s I've purchased. Now I do check when I'm buying flea market stuff. I do make sure and see how brittle they are. And of course, if they're brittle to the point where you pick them up and they just snap, they're barely good enough for even to have them on a display table. Because if you, the same with vehicles. All right, so these figures were painted by the great Jim Shaw. Jim Shaw, if you watch this video, thank you very much for your friendship. And so those of you that are new to my channel, I'm an old fat guy. I make history videos with a stuffed bear called Goober that's over 40 years old. And a lot of my wargaming friends have passed on. Life is short. I don't do politics, and I don't do things perfect in my wargaming world. So there are a lot of incredible wargame channels out there that make incredible tables, terrain, figures, everything. I'm just making stuff good enough to get on the table, play a war game with the Chuckleheads or the Hawks or whoever, a war game convention. And one day when I pass on, I love this. My friends are going to have a hell of a time getting, I'll be close to 50,000, 50 more 54 millimeter figures out of this basement, along with one heck of a lot of board games. So I pick on Josh about that. These Confederates really are nice poses. These aren't typical. These are very rare release by Marks. These from their Heroes collection or whatever it was called, where they're in a specific little box. They were like a collector item. Walt Leach has a huge collection of them in his underground lair. So next week we have the Fort Belvoir Museum in Virginia for our big Wargame Day. Mark Fostaso and his group will be there of Mark's Game Room. I don't know if Little Wars TV is coming. I do know Peter of ScrumCon is coming with a Vietnam game. I'll be running Battle of the Bulge in 54. And hopefully we'll get some people show up and go from there. I don't know if what the weather's supposed to be like yet. And that is Virginia, but Virginia's gotten some snow. I worked in the Shenandoah Valley this morning, and they had a pretty good amount of snow in Winchester and down through there. Look at that. Boy, they really do pop when you do the flocking, don't they? They really do. So hopefully somebody from the channel will stop in at Fort Belvoir, Virginia on the 25th and visit the Chuckleheads and our war game. I'll probably try to make some kind of a little video of the museum while I'm there if I have time. They do not allow tripods, microphones, even handheld stuff. So, which really isn't a big deal for me since I barely use any of that stuff on my videos as it is. But, all right. Now, Kim Meatis, he helped a lot with the Weiss Fork board game. And the anniversary for Weiss Fork is coming up March 8th, 7th, 8th through the 10th. And they're doing a lot of stuff down in Kinston, North Carolina for that battlefield. And tours and a pancake breakfast. So these troops will be in that battle. I'll be running that at Cold Wars. And where else? Oh, the Williamsburg muster. I have not been given the official notification of what to post yet. They're supposed to send me their verbiage tonight or tomorrow. They are really trying to find a secondary location. And as of right now, their hotel had problems with their furniture. So now we have our Native American Indians. These are Plains Indians. These are not perfect. Okay, I'm going to show them up close again. All right, these are like less than $1 a piece. They're on Temu. I think maybe they go on cakes. They do have weird holes in the back, a molding hole. But, you know, it's like $3 for like 6 of them. And if you need a lot for like Custer's Last Stand and you don't want to spend a couple $1,000s, this is a great way to go. And I gonna hit them with some flocking material here. So once they're flocked, they'll look a lot better. So who's going to Cold Wars? I will be there. And I know the Chuckleheads are going. I know the Hawks are going. And Frank Prez and his wife are running that event. And they Jim McWee is helping. Jim McWee is a famous war gamer. He's actually been here to the house when I could run games here and my wife's health was better. So now this coming weekend, we don't know. My wife has, well, she has something somewhere to be on Friday all day. And I won't say more than that, but I'm sure some of you understand. And then she probably will be sick when she gets out and not feel like going to Virginia. But we will see. A month ago, we did do that. And she slept all the way down. It worked out okay. But then she was sick most of the weekend there. So, but she does love it there. And she'd like to spend more time at the Virginia house. So what do you think of these natives? I think they're darn good for a couple bucks. Um, they're pre-painted, so you know. Now I'm supposed to talk to Ron Prowman, famous miniature wargamer, and set guy. He was the wrangler for the horses at the Gettysburg movie, and I've interviewed him a lot. Some of my interviews with him are over a couple thousand views. But he's supposed to call me tonight. He's in the Philippines, I think it is, of all places. He owns a home in the Philippines. And so I think him and his wife went to the Philippines to visit friends and family. And anyhow, and I still owe him $60 for tanks, which I mentioned that to him in an email today. And hopefully I will. He doesn't want to be bothered with PayPal or anything. He just said when I see him at the next event to pay him. So he had a batch of tanks. I got too many tanks and 54s. But I could have a giant tank battle in the backyard. Well, we get these flocked. We're going to go check on the fences and see about flocking them. You know what else will make those fences look good is if I put a few pebbles around on those bases too when I flock them. To give it a little bit more realism, I guess. And I hope you're getting motivated. I get more and more people that say that they just don't get motivated to get off their couch to do this stuff. And I guess I stay motivated a lot because I'm in my basement an awful lot. Well, Sheriff John, by the way, donated $25, which isn't needed. I don't ask for money for my donation stuff. I just ask you to watch my videos. But we came out with $311 for Civil War Trails. And that's not bad for a month and a half of YouTube views, is it? For an old fat guy and a stuffed bear. I mean, we're all out of Goober grant money. I was told the Goober grant money was given to me to give to small museums, which we did, and we made videos, but it wasn't released who the Patreon was, and I'm not sure when they're going to announce that. And then our game money and calendar money. By the way, this is the last week for a Goober calendar. I figure you probably have ordered one. I've been bugging people since October, and this is the last week of the Goober calendars. And then February, I'll set up a time to go to the Maryland Veterans Museum and deliver the Goober check. Boy, these natives, they look a lot better once they're flocked, don't they? I got one more base to go, and then we'll do a close-up. So, George in New Jersey, he sent me a note that he's retired now, so he's constantly working on stuff. But it's funny, he said he gets one batch of stuff going on, and then he stops and starts on something else, and he never gets everything done. And he has a half a dozen half-finished projects. So from terrain to figure painting and the like. I think it's sort of funny. George and his son Harrison, they're quite funny. They wargame together, and they often play in my games, and they get in some pretty good kidding and joking with each other of who's doing better, who's the better wargamer. All right, this is our last Indian, our last Native American, and we're going to go ahead and finish this one off. And I'm hoping that people watch this video, and if I get 10 views even, I mean, the more views and subscribers, the more money I can donate. But if I help get somebody off the couch, you know, I've lost so many great wargamer friends. All of you that write to me have actually become my wargaming friends. You know, Elwood Woody Christ and Jerry Lanigan. I mean, the list is endless. And sooner or later, that's just the way life is. You can't get depressed about it. That's why I try to remind myself of how cool they were and how great wargamers they were, and friendships to keep their memories alive. Just like when I pass on, I'm sure Josh will, Jim Shaw, and a few of the guys, Walt and Kevin, I don't know if they'll remember me or not. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, what happened when that big disruption where I threw down the mic and turned off the camera? We had a delivery from the United States Postal Service. That's right. And when the doorbell rings, our house is full of rescue dogs, and everything goes nuts. I know what this is. You don't know what this is. Well, you know what? We have fences to bring in, but we will pop this open. I've been waiting a year for this to arrive. That's right, a year. And here it is. There it is. Avalon Digital. Small Wars, Mohegans. The French Indian War Game. All right. Well, it's pretty cool. Haven't opened it up. We just got it. So, boy, do I multitask or what? We have fences outside that are drying. We have a board game that arrived. I'll make a separate video for the Mohegans game. What do you say? And so I think right now, also my wife is up and about because of the doorbell. We're going to close this video out now, I guess, or I'll pause it and check and see how the fences look. All right, everyone. The fences still smell bad of spray paint. So we are going to clean up our paintbrush, put away our flocking material, and I'm going to say to all of you, fencing will be flocked and then dry brushed with black, maybe add some rocks. And I'm dying to open up the French Indian War game that came from France. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this video out with stay safe, be kind, be courteous. Thank you for watching. You're helping to raise money for my different charities. And I'm going to do a video unboxing of the board game, okay, the Mohegans. Stay tuned, and thank you again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.